There comes a moment in every life when the noise grows loud enough that the soul begins to ache for something steady, something anchored, something unchanging. The world moves quickly, expectations multiply, responsibilities press in, and voices compete for attention. In such moments, the heart does not need more pressure or complexity. It longs for clarity, for grounding, for a reminder of what truly holds life together. There is a truth that does not shift with trends or collapse under uncertainty, a truth that brings peace and direction. What shapes life is not human wisdom or tradition, but Christ, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. By him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. When this understanding settles deeply within the heart, identity begins to realign. Life is no longer measured by the things of the earth, but by things above. The constant sense of lacking begins to fade, because it pleased the Father that all fullness should dwell in him. Many live as though something essential is missing, always striving for the next breakthrough, the next teaching, the next experience, hoping it will finally complete them. Yet fullness is not found in regulations, traditions, or self-made religion. Fullness is found in him, in whom you have been made complete. Growth then becomes a movement toward maturity, not a desperate attempt to fill an inner emptiness. Being rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, rest begins to replace restlessness, and peace begins to take the place of striving. There is also a quiet warning woven into this truth. Not every idea that sounds wise leads to life. See to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition and the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. Some teachings appear wise in self-made religion and severity to the body, but they are of no value in restraining the desires of the flesh. What promises freedom often leaves the soul burdened and unsettled. True growth does not come from complexity or rules that perish with use. Freedom does not come from submitting to regulations such as do not handle, do not taste, do not touch. Transformation flows from holding fast to the head, from whom the whole body grows with a growth that is from God. Anything that shifts focus away from him, no matter how convincing it sounds, ultimately weakens spiritual life. Real change begins within. It is not outward appearance or empty behavior management. You have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When this inner reality is embraced, the outer life follows. What belongs to the earthly nature is put to death, not by force, but by understanding. Old ways begin to lose their hold because they no longer align with who you are. Anger, wrath, malice, slander, and filthy language are put away. Lies lose their place. The old self with its practices is set aside, and the new self is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. This change is not pretending to be someone else. It is living out who you are becoming. The former way of life fades, not because it is forbidden, but because it no longer fits the new life. This new life expresses itself through qualities that heal relationships and strengthen community. Compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience shape how others are treated. Bearing with one another, forgiving one another just as forgiveness has been received, becomes a way of life. Above all these things, love is put on, which binds everything together in perfect unity. And the peace of Christ is allowed to rule in the heart with thankfulness. Life is not divided into sacred and ordinary. Faith is not reserved for quiet moments alone. Whatever you do, in word or deed, is done in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Everyday life becomes a place where purpose is expressed, not through perfection, but through sincerity. Work is no longer merely a means to survive or gain status. Whatever you do, you work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. Authority is exercised with fairness and justice. Obedience flows not from fear, but from reverence. Relationships are shaped by mutual responsibility rather than power struggles. Gratitude quietly strengthens the soul. Thanksgiving becomes a posture, not a reaction. Being rooted and built up produces hearts that overflow with thanksgiving. Gratitude guards the heart from bitterness and grounds it in what has already been given. Alongside gratitude, attentiveness becomes essential. Continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. Wisdom shapes how life is lived among others. Words are chosen carefully, seasoned with grace, fitting the moment. Responses become thoughtful rather than reactive. Life among others is lived with wisdom and clarity. Conduct is shaped so that those outside may see integrity without pressure or force. Truth is not argued into people, it is lived before them. A life shaped by Christ becomes an invitation by its very consistency. At its heart, this message calls for stability, to be rooted, to be built up, to be established, not moved away from the hope, not shaken by empty ideas, not confused by competing voices. When life is anchored this way, difficulty may come, but it does not determine the end. Growth continues, strength deepens, hope remains. And so the soul is gently led back to what matters most, not striving but holding fast, not complexity but fullness, not fear but peace. Life is lived from a place that is hidden with Christ in God. From that place, direction becomes clear. From that place, growth becomes steady. From that place, life is lived with purpose, peace, and quiet strength. As life continues to unfold with its uncertainties and pressures, there is comfort in knowing that stability does not come from controlling every outcome, but from remaining grounded. The call is not to constant striving, but to perseverance. Continue in the faith, grounded and settled, not moved away from the hope. When voices compete and ideas multiply, the answer is not to chase them all, but to remain rooted where life is sustained. The focus of life does not need to shift with every season. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. When attention is fixed this way, priorities begin to align. Worry loosens its grip. Fear no longer dominates decision-making. Life becomes shaped by what is lasting rather than what is temporary. This does not remove responsibility or effort. It gives them meaning. Whatever you do, do it heartily, not with eye service, not as people pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing the Lord. Even unseen faithfulness carries weight. Even quiet obedience is noticed. Nothing done in this posture is wasted. There is also assurance for those who feel unseen or overlooked. You serve the Lord Christ. This truth steadies the heart and corrects the need for constant recognition. It redirects motivation away from approval and toward faithfulness. As the journey continues, wisdom remains essential. Walk in wisdom toward those who are outside. Let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each one. In a world quick to argue and divide, this kind of wisdom stands out. It reflects strength rather than weakness, confidence rather than fear. There is also encouragement in remembering that growth is not solitary. You are part of a body, joined and knit together, increasing with the increase that comes from God. Progress is not measured by isolation, but by connection, support, and shared purpose. And so the invitation remains simple and steady. Let the word dwell richly. Let peace rule in the heart. Let gratitude remain present. These are not lofty ideals, they are daily anchors. They hold the soul in place when life feels uncertain. In the end, the message returns to what has been true all along. Life is hidden with Christ in God. From that place comes strength for endurance, clarity for decision, and peace that remains. When everything else shifts, this foundation stands. And from here you walk forward, rooted, established, and unmoved, living not from pressure but from fullness, not from fear but from hope, not from striving but from faithfulness.